Oh, right. I'm about to ask you what's up. But the thing I wanted to mention is I got my COVID test this morning. And we were just talking last week about how like people just want to see brands. People identify with brands or whatever. My shirt just says the PlayStation 2 logo. And the guy at the testing thing was like, hey, man, I really dig that shirt. That's awesome. You don't get that when you're wearing like cool shit or like things that you think are stylish.
Yeah.
It's just brand. I like brand.
Yeah. I've only gotten a compliment 3 times on clothes I've worn. All 3 of those times are from friends, never from a stranger. And that's disheartening. But also, I don't know. I got asked if I was a streamer when I was wearing this shirt once.
It's kind of streamer gear.
It is streamer gear. And the reason I was so taken aback by that, I was like, do I look like a streamer? Like, no, man, I'm super lame.
What does a streamer look like in your head?
I don't know, like somebody who's just kind of like schlubbing it, but also like making ridiculous bank.
But that could be anybody. You don't have a certain look, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't want to be looking like I'm schlubbing it. At the time I was going into the office store.
Oh, you wore this in public.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like wearing my jerseys. Like, I wear my Bayern Munich jerseys. I have 2 of them, and I have a sweater from them. And then I have, I think I have 2 G2 jerseys, and then 1 Overwatch jersey. And I'm about to buy 2 FlyQuest jerseys.
Wow. Okay. So you're kind of committed. So like, I just want to you mentioned that you just don't like brands, and you said that these are essentially just big advertisements, these jerseys. I really didn't see what you were talking about until today, but you
really am wearing like a ton of brands.
Yeah. Kind of explain yourself here. What's the logic?
I think okay, look, here's the thing. I like sports, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's difficult to know what I like based on what I wear. So sometimes I'll wear these. So when we were still going into the office, my friend and I did Jersey Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. So we'd wear a team jersey on Tuesdays or Fridays. So okay. I just had a lot of jerseys to, fill out the week for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just because like him and I both like the same stuff. So, like we watched Overwatch League together. We watched League of Legends esports together. Mm-hmm. I don't know anybody who watches soccer. So that to me is just like me like trying to reach out and hopefully finding somebody else who I could like I don't have a friend who's into sports. I don't have a friend who's into sports. So it's like I want a friend who's into sports.
So it is the thing of like, I just want to kind of put out some part of my identity on my body that tells other people that I have this interest.
Sometimes, yeah. But it's not like I wear these every day.
Right.
Most of the time it's like completely like logoed clothing. Yeah. But sometimes I do like to wear like,
I think the most memorable compliment I've ever gotten on my clothing was we were in Bookman's. It was like maybe at least 5 years ago. Probably 7 years ago at this point. Synovia made me this shirt because I told her that Geometry Wars 2 is my favorite game of all time. And this was early in our relationship, so she was like, I don't know, she just wanted to do a bunch of cool stuff like that for me. She still does.
She's putting in a real effort back then.
I know, that's not what I'm saying.
The fake effort.
That's kind of what I'm saying, but that's not what I'm saying. Anyway, so she made me this shirt, and she just took a screenshot of Geometry Wars and put it on a shirt, and it looked cool, right? That it's just like a lot of.
Sylvia made that shirt?
Yeah, she just screen printed it.
Oh my god! I thought you actually bought that shirt. That was a really well done shirt.
Yeah, she took a screenshot of it and she put it on the shirt, and it's just a bunch of geometric shapes and whatever. It's kind of hard to know what it is unless you're super into Geometry Wars. It just looks like a weird abstract design. We were in Bookman's and this dude came up to me and he was like, "Hey man, nice shirt." Like he was like looking at me like dead in the face and was like, he really meant it. He's like, "That's a really cool shirt. I love that game." I was like, "What the fuck?"
I'm a friend.
That's so I mean, I remember this years later because of that like connection, because you don't. It is a way of putting out something where you're like, I like this thing, I like whatever. You're not necessarily trying to brand yourself. You're just putting out some sort of you. Yeah,
I kind of regret making fun of people who do this last week and then wearing this and then realizing like I have a ton of these. Yeah. Like it's not even like I'm like if my closet looked like what I normally look like on this podcast, it would be different because then I'm not a hypocrite. I'm just an asshole. Right now I'm both.
Nice. Yeah, that was it for our merch stuff. We were talking about Travis Scott merch, which is kind of the kind of the start of all this. That's why we're wearing our brands today, because it was like, who the fuck wants to wear a McDonald's Travis Scott shirt? But I get it.
You're wearing a Twitch and Logitech and G2 and yeah.
It's all good. I don't judge you.
Thank you.
That hard.
Yeah. The FlyQuest jerseys don't have much branding on it, and they look really sick, and they plant trees when you buy them. So
that's cool.
I'm actually like pretty amped to buy them.
Yeah. You could just plant the tree yourself, right?
I don't have anywhere to plant a tree.
Okay. That's okay. I forgive you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's up with you this week? How have you been doing?
I'm pretty living life high right now, because I don't know if you remember yesterday. Yeah, that sounds a little bit different than I meant. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned that my friend and I were going to be participating in a Teamfight Tactics tournament that happened yesterday.
How'd it go?
Oh, we got 6th
out of
20.
Nice.
Yeah. We were 9 points away from first place, and we were 4 points away from second place. So we were like really close, like really, really close.
Did you feel well prepared to compete?
I think that if I grinded a little bit harder, right? Like if I tried a little bit more, we would have been an easy top 5. Easy top 5 for us. We were 1 point away from top 5.
And so this was the game where it's like a chess game where you play out your moves on a turn-based thing.
Mm-hmm. Kind of, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Like, where did it fall apart for you? What do you think you could have improved on? Like, what were you good at?
Basically, like, I made some really critical mistakes on what pieces I put on the board, and like what I put on those pieces. Like, basically, like where I placed my pieces and what pieces I put on the board in my first 2 matches. It was really rough, because basically there's 8 possible positions you can take in a game. I took 5th and 6th. And then I took 1st and 2nd. So out of 4 games, I took 1st, 2nd, but 5th, 6th. If I had taken 4th or 2/5, we would have been top 5. So it really kind of sucks that I just didn't have the knowledge that I needed. Like that's why I'm saying, like if I just played more games, I would have known what to do.
Would you compete again in the same game?
Yeah, if it's for fun again. I got super nervous before we played. I told my friend, I was like, man, I'm jittery. But I love that feeling of like those jittery nerves you get before like a big thing like that. It was fun.
You just like did this online, right? You just joined some sort of lobby and it was competitive, or
yeah. So the University of Florida put up their esports team put up the tournament, and it's the first tournament on this this version of the game. So no one knew going into it like what was going to be strong or weak. So everyone was playing different stuff. So it's like kind of cool to see if like what I'd been practicing would actually be pretty good. And what I've been practicing was pretty good. I took top 2 twice.
Nice.
Playing it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of competition, most of my week has been spent trying to beat Alex in Geometry Wars. This motherfucker, he beat 4 of my scores last week on the podcast. I even mentioned it when he did it. He told me. I went and I was all smug because he sent me some like little joke, right? Little jab or whatever at me on Discord. And I spent 2 hours playing those specific levels. I beat all of his scores. And I was like, haha, that's really funny. Anyway, I beat all your scores. I was like feeling myself to the fullest extent, thinking that he wouldn't do whatever. And he didn't beat any of those 4 scores. He instead went and beat one of my other scores. And he did really, really well, like frustratingly well. And he got himself ranked 48th in the fucking world on this one level. And I was so upset because it's a well-made level. It's not unfair. It's not whatever. I'm just not that good at it. It's a particular kind of Geometry Wars 3. There's a lot of individual levels, and they kind of play with the fundamental concepts that were in the first couple games. So there's a specific version of pacifism where you can't shoot. You have to kind of do some strategery to maximize your score and whatever. And Alex just did really well. I spent no less than 12 hours this week playing that level over and over and over again. I am ranked 50th in the world.
No.
He is 2 spots ahead of me.
God. How is Alex beating you? Because I also see him playing like Plasmophobia all the time. Is he beating you in that game and also playing Plasmophobia at the
Well,
same
he just
time?
got his score once 5 days ago. I have been struggling trying to beat it ever since. So he's kind of coasting while I'm banging my head against the same level. So
Holy
it's
moly.
kind of tearing my life apart. I haven't done much this week besides that. My AC broke yesterday, which is what I was just mentioning before we started the actual podcast proper. So it's hard to be in my house and to be alive at the moment. We have to replace the entire AC, which is a stressful, big, dumb thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, my week hasn't really been much except for those two things.
Oh man.
But there is one other kind of thing in motion in my life right now. So a couple years ago, well, April 2019, so a year and a half ago, Synovia and I got engaged. Our plan was to get married April 2021 because that would be the 10-year anniversary of when we started to date.
Oh,
down to the day, April 10th.
Okay.
So we were thinking that was going to be the day, thinking that we would need about a year to plan the entire thing. We had a guest list of 100 people. We had all these plans to do different stuff. We were calling venues and stuff, and this was about a year ago. Mm-hmm. Kind of seriously thinking about things, but at the time we lived in Seattle, knowing that we were going to move to Tucson, so we would probably just wait till we got to Tucson, which was supposed to be April of this year, or June of this year. Clearly, everything kind of went to shit in March. Yes. And so we were just like, well, we're really not going to get married in April. It's kind of unrealistic. It's kind of not going to happen. We just kind of have to put this on hold. Me being impatient, I don't want to be engaged for forever. So I was kind of just saying we should try to do something and still try to hit the April day. Mm. And it was kind of this like, oh, we should have it really, really small. And then we can do like a real party later and blah, 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 all this stuff. Long story short, we're getting married in April still. It's going to be a real wedding. We've cut the list down to 50 people. Mm-hmm. Nice. Hopefully things will be better in April. And if not, we'll figure something out or whatever. But Synovia currently is getting, she's looking at wedding dresses with her sister. And it's real. It's like really, really, it's exciting, but like, holy fuck. Oh, yeah. So that's been my week, basically.
Nice.
Wedding stuff.
Nice. I was gonna ask about that, not on the podcast, just about it, because I remember like you told me like you wanted to do it in 2021. And I was like, 2021 looks like it might be fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have friends getting married actually in a few weeks. I think 3 weeks from today. So just realized we'll have to figure something out about recording because we record these on Sundays. But anyway, yeah, they're doing a wedding, but it's just 12 people. So this whole kind of thing and realizing it might be possible.
Yeah.
In 7 months.
I think you can do it. You just have to have them like, you just have to like, respect it. You know that you can be like, and now we're gonna have a wedding in a barn. Like, right. All right, everyone sit on each other's laps. Yeah. Let's tell stories. Like, hold on.
Tell stories by whispering into people's mouths.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes whether people are being like jokey on the internet or not, but I saw one where people were just like, yeah, we're gonna have a dedicated coughing room. I saw that. We're gonna take a lot of pictures of my grandparents in case something happens. I was like, I don't know if this is a joke or not.
That was like the anti-masker wedding, right?
Yeah,
I saw that. It was so frustrating. I refuse to believe that's real.
There's no way that one is real, because if they're just like, LOL, grandparents might die, and also there's a coughing room, like, come on, dude, that's not.
And also one of their last names was Fartlander.
Yeah.
That's not real.
I didn't read the name.
Yeah, that's not real, dude. I refuse.
Fartlander, what a name. Nice, man. I'm glad that you guys are tying the knot.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited for it. It's one of these things where like Synovia's, we're both looking at venues, but Synovia kind of has more energy for it. So she's like
looking for venues,
calling people. I don't talk to anybody on the phone. So she's calling people and asking all these questions that I don't even think about. So she's kind of in the driver's seat there, but it's fun to think about what we're doing. And for me, I only had maybe 30 people on the guest list in the first place. So cutting it down to 25 was not a big deal. She had to cut it from 70 to 25 or something like that. So, because it was originally 100.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you're still the best man, by the way. Hope you can make it.
Yeah. I mean, presumably I'm not going to die between now and April. So
yeah,
I'll be there.
Yeah. After April, whatever. But
yeah. I mean, yeah, why not?
Why not?
Well, why not? I've lived a pretty good life, probably.
That's grim. I don't like that. Don't die.
I don't intend to.
So there's a bullet point on here. I forgot one thing, but I can talk about that later. There's a bullet point on here that says League Worlds.
Yeah, the League of Legends World Championship started this week. Yeah. Holy moly. It plays at like 1 a.m. to like 8 or 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. And goddamn, am I so excited for it. Holy shit.
So I think it was on the TV when I came in, right? What what do you do when that is on the TV?
I watch it.
Okay. Do you like root for a specific person? Do you only watch specific teams? Do you?
Oh yeah. Okay. So the way that Worlds works is that there's 4 major leagues, right? There's North America, basically America and Canada.
Mhm.
There's Europe, which is most of like basically the entirety of Europe minus Russia and Turkey. Then there's Korea, which is South Korea, and there's China, which is right now the best league in the world, China.
Okay.
Then there's a bunch of minor leagues, which are like what formerly was Taiwan, but now is Southeast Asia. There's Brazil, there's Latin America, Turkey, Russia, Vietnam normally is there, but they didn't get passports, so they're not there anymore. Japan, and shoot, I'm missing a couple. Okay, but anyway, the rest of them don't really matter. Australia's in there. Anyway, it's
Okay.
like basically it's like this is like every region either sends their best 3 teams, or their best 4 teams, or their singular best team. Minor teams get 1, except for Southeast Asia, they get 2 because they used to be a major league. And then Europe this year and China this year got to send 4 teams. And so right now, like, you're just rooting for your teams to get into like the main event of Worlds. This is the play-in stage. And so right now it's just a bunch of like minor leagues with these 4 major league teams in there, and it's crazy. It's like, it's so hype. I almost always root for Europe when it comes to sporting events or anything. I don't know. I just like their teams more usually. And I've been a fan of the European teams in League of Legends since season 1, so 10 years now.
So you're rooting for the downfall of North America? Is that what you're saying?
North America is usually pretty garbo, and I really like watching high level stuff, but
Yeah.
I feel like I need to root for like. Part of the reason I root for the European teams is because I think that their tactics and their energy and like their team dynamic is just more interesting than North America.
So is that the kind of, I mean, so what makes someone good? Like, I remember the only thing I know about competitive anything is like in StarCraft a long time ago, people would try to maximize like their APM.
Yeah.
What is it in League?
So in League, there's really like 2 pieces to it. So like one is like your mechanical skill, basically your APM. Like, can you click faster than your opponent, and can you click the right things and aim at the right people? The other part of it is like your team tactics. Basically, like, is your team better at strategy than your opposing team? And if you're better in both, then you can just run train on basically everybody. So like the world champions typically will be better in both of those regards. But you can also have teams that are just like super brilliant, like amazingly smart teams that are just kind of garbage when it comes to mechanics.
Yeah.
And the European teams usually are on par mechanically with the Eastern teams, so Korea and China. And generally speaking, every year they've been like innovators in terms of like strategy. Sometimes like Korea will innovate the strategy, sometimes Europe will, sometimes China will. The last 2 years, China basically like set what the strategy was with Europe. It's like Europe and China like set what the strategy was going to be. And North America, generally speaking, they aren't very good strategically, except for one team. And they're also not very good mechanically. So they usually only have like one team that does really well. And that team isn't even in this Worlds. So
If they're not so good, how are they a major whatever?
History.
Just because America?
Just because America, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's more or less it. Well, that, and also that, like, so they're, when I say that they're not good, not very good, I'm comparing them to the other major teams. Compared to like the minor teams, they blow them out of the water almost every year. The last 2 years, the only team that really came close was Russia. Their team almost knocked America out, but they ended up not being able to close that one out. So, yeah, I don't know. It's super close right now, but I don't know. It's very exciting for me. I'm super hyped.
Yeah. I mean,
And G2 is my favorite team in their Europe. And my other favorite team is, right now it's FlyQuest, which is a North American team. But I don't know. We'll see how they do in Worlds.
are they the one good one?
No, they're actually not even the good one. I like their brand. I like their team brand.
You like their brand, huh?
Yeah, they're super like eco-friendly. Like their whole deal is like they're like the ecological team basically. So like every split they've been doing like a big push of like, if you buy their merch, they'll plant trees or donate a certain amount of money to like the ocean cleanup stuff. That's why I like them. But their players probably will get blown up at Worlds.
Yeah. Interesting. I guess I just yeah, as someone who like doesn't have any awareness of that stuff, I don't watch sports just in general, but I guess like the minute to minute fun for you watching that stuff is just kind of analyzing their strategy, kind of looking at what's going on.
Kinda, but right now it's been super wild. Like, spoilers. But also, this episode goes out a week afterwards. So if like you're
No,
following
this is gonna be
League
up
and
Wednesday.
Oh yeah. So if you're following League and you're like on Wednesday looking at the Sunday games, like you got to pick up a little bit. But yeah, it's like this year, like China might not even get out of the play-ins. Like their number 4 team is losing to Japan and Latin America, which would look really garbo. But then they beat Russia and China like back to back. The Russian team looks like super sick, and the team from Southeast Asia, they look incredible. Like this year's World is nuts, and also like the European representative Mad Lions is getting dookied on by like Turkey, and they lost to America. And like I don't know, man, this year's World has been like super crazy because of COVID and everything. They're like, this is the first time a lot of these people are playing on a stage, and
Sorry,
you
I
can take
gotta
it.
go.
I'll fill time.
Excuse me.
Yeah. This is like the first time that a lot of these teams are playing on a stage again since this year started, and like COVID it made it so there's no audience still. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Synovia forgot we were recording, and she called me a little tipsy. Synovia found a dress.
Hey.
Yeah. So that's exciting.
I have a question. Is that a thing? Like I've watched Say Yes to the Dress or whatever that TV show is on TLC, and the bride and family always get a little bit tipsy doing it. Is that like a traditional thing?
I believe it's a tradition. I've never been in the room in that thing really happening, but I also have been a victim of Say Yes to the Dress. I've had to watch it at times. So, yeah, I don't know. Synovia was very excited. She said she found one. She said that she said yes to the dress. So she was very on brand there.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
What was the last part of what you were saying?
I was just talking about League of Legends stuff again.
Okay.
Yeah, we can move on. It's all good. I get a little bit too hypey for it, and I realized like I actually said while you were gone, I was like, "Is anyone even care about League of Like, I don't know if our viewers care about League of Legends at all." For our one French listener, PSG,
That person doesn't listen anymore.
No, no.
We should assume we have no listeners.
No.
Because we've never heard anything from anybody listening except for that one dude in California.
Yeah,
who I didn't know it was from California. Anyway,
That's really disappointing.
That's what
I was going to say, for the one French listener, PSG is the owner of the Southeast Asian team that's doing really well right now.
See, I feel like they probably were listening, and then we mentioned that we knew that we had a French listener, and they were like, "Oh fuck, that's weird." So then they just
That's really unfortunate. I regret pointing it out, but I would have pointed it out now anyway. And they might not even be a PSG fan. They could be from like Britannia or something.
or they could have no idea what League of Legends is.
Yeah, that may not be the case. I think most people who are even remotely into the tech world would know. It's like the biggest esport game in the world right now. By a lot.
I guarantee my coworkers have no idea. Like my old coworkers have no idea what League of Legends is. Anyway, it's a weird thing. We're talking to no one, so that's our audience.
Ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, the last thing I had on my bullet list is I forgot to mention. So I have a record player. I've had a record player at my mom's house, and I have a crazy vinyl collection that sometimes I forget how crazy it is. But there's some good, rare, interesting, great stuff in there.
Yeah, buddy.
So I set up the record player yesterday. Had to get some fancy cables and stuff like that. And I started listening to the most recent Pusha T album, which I've heard dozens of times. And I'm not an audiophile. I can't tell the difference between digital or anything like that. But there's something very, very, I guess, freeing. I don't know how to say that word. It makes me feel free listening to music on vinyl because there's no stats. It kind of goes into my thing of how I mentioned I love stat tracking, and I get this pressure of I need to listen to Kid Cudi more because he's my favorite person ever, but I listened to him before I had a Spotify account, so he's only my second or my third of all time. So on a personal level, I want to listen to him more to get my stats up, which is a dumb way to think. It's a dumb, like, stat-driven things to like change my listening habits for no real benefit. And listening to something on vinyl, it's hard to skip tracks because you have to move the needle to the next little ring. it takes, I guess, a level of effort to listen to the music than it does more so than it does listening to like Spotify or whatever. And so I just put on an album. I listened to it. Every 4 songs you got to flip it or change the record or whatever. And I ended up enjoying it more because I can just hear the music and focus on the music. And there was no meta that I get from like all other things I consume music with. You know what I mean? And I just really enjoyed that. I kind of want to go through more of my records and just kind of enjoy them.
Do you know who the Luddites were?
Yes, I do. I'm not beating up Spotify like servers or whatever.
It's funny to me how like technology's almost gotten in your way in some ways.
Well, there is a point at which technology will progress where people will say, I don't want that, which is always true. Mm-hmm. It's always happened like, oh, we automated your job, fuck off. It's like, well, I don't want that for obvious reasons. You're removing my whatever. Mm-hmm. When it gets to this point where you're supposed to benefit from things to a point of whatever, but technological advancement doesn't necessarily equate to a better experience. Doesn't necessarily equate to objectively better than something before it. Yeah. We were just talking about how shitty video games are. Mm-hmm. They're more technically advanced than they were before. They can be better to you, whatever that means, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, however long ago. And if we kind of keep progressing, it's like we talked about the Neuralink. That is technological magic. That is like future stuff. I don't want a chip in my brain. I don't care what it can do for me. Yeah. So at a certain point, you kind of have to just make your decision that you don't want to continue going with the technology. Like I still buy CDs, or I still bought CDs until Best Buy stopped selling them. But you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to hang on.
Target sells vinyls.
Yeah, that's crazy to me that they don't sell CDs anymore. I mean, Best Buy doesn't, but Target started to sell vinyl in a more kind of
it's like a vinyl section.
Yes.
And you're like the dude if you go into the vinyl section. I'm the dude who goes in the vinyl section. I stop by every now and again.
Yeah, and like Taylor Swift, her new album, I almost forgot Taylor Swift's name. Taylor Swift's name, her most recent album was on vinyl, and it was like a big push at Target, and they had like kind of special artwork or track. I don't know what it was, but some kind of promotion to sell her record at Target, which is a pullback on the streaming thing, on the whatever. The fact that vinyl continues to rise in revenue every year, is something. I don't know what, but it's something.
I feel like the hipsters won.
But it's not even hipsters. It is like my cousin, one of my younger cousins. She just turned. Oh God, I'm trying to 15. Anyway, somewhere around there. She's young. She's a big Juice WRLD fan. And I like Juice WRLD too.
No relation, I bet, between you liking Juice WRLD and her liking Juice WRLD.
Well, no, we're not really that close. Like we don't hang out and stuff like that. Okay. So it's just she's just a fan of Juice WRLD because she's a young kid, and Juice WRLD's super popular with the youth.
There we go. All right.
And like Juice WRLD was younger than me when he died, right? Like it's a weird thing.
Juice WRLD's dead.
Jesus Christ, it's a running joke.
Why can't I commit this to memory? I'm sorry.
Jesus. Anyway, it's weird being a fan of people who are younger than you and all this kind of stuff. But my cousin, on her birthday, I knew she was a Juice WRLD fan, and I don't like just kind of continuing to give gift cards and stuff like that. So I got her a record, like a vinyl of his first album, and she loved it. She was so hyped about it because she got to hold the thing and look at the artwork and like take pictures of it for her Instagram and stuff like that.
And stuff.
Yeah. And you get liner notes, and you get kind of you get an experience with vinyl that you do not get with Spotify. No matter what they kind of do with all these like weird moving videos and stuff behind the. I don't know if you've seen on Spotify the app, they put like GIFs basically behind the control sometimes, and it'll never equate to vinyl. And so I asked her, I was like, I don't even know if you have a record player, but if you need one, I have an old one, you can have whatever. She's like, oh no, I have one. Someone gave it to me for a gift or whatever. I just don't have any records. I never really like thought or whatever. It's just one of these things where you just, it's a gift idea. You can give someone a record player. It's kind of whatever. And the same way I was like, oh, I'll give her a record. It doesn't really matter. But now she's getting into vinyl. A 15-year-old.
Dang.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it's just a cool thing. I think that's a thing that people are going to like. It's peak peak music consumer product. I don't know.
I don't know. I think there's like that a thing about like authenticity almost of that experience is different than just playing a song on Spotify. I listen to music like all the time. I barely even think about it like sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. You can't play vinyl as a secondary activity.
No,
because it demands your attention because you literally need to flip it every so often.
Or move the needle if you want to skip a track or. I assume if you were really crazy, you could change the RPM to meet the beat of the song. No.
Well, you could depending on the record player, you can change it from 33 or 45, or you can also do 76 or whatever the other one is. That's more whatever, but you can't you don't have much fine grain. Yeah. Oh, okay. So like yesterday, I was playing "Mo Money Mo Problems," the single on a thing, and I sped it up to 45 RPM, and it sounded funny, and that's like basically the extent of whatever. But it's cool that you can do that because you see the mechanics of like how that's happening. You see the thing spinning, you see the needle there, and you see how it's working. It's like I said, it's an experience. Yeah. So I don't know. I just really enjoyed that thing. That whole thing. I like I said, I was going through my record collection, and I've got some shit in there, like some cool stuff. So I just want to kind of go and re-experience things I already know I like, but on vinyl.
Yeah, that's super cool. I approve. Even though I've yet to use my record player, I have records that I'm very excited to listen to.
That you've been excited for
like
years.
Yeah. I'm just lazy when it comes to getting stuff for myself.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is you need a speaker setup to plug that in.
That's what I need to buy. Actually, that's what my goal is currently. I'm gonna get a speaker set up, but first I need a dining room table.
This is Sapphire Space though. What's she gonna do?
She's gonna sleep under the table, I assume. Not because I force her to, because she just likes to be under stuff. She sleeps like 90% under my bed during bedtime.
Yeah. I kind of get that. If I could fit under beds, I would do the same.
I imagine it's cozy down there, but her butt sticks out, so it's like really funny to me when if I'm like wake up in the middle of the night, I have to like check to see if I'm gonna step on her butt.